Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your number one non-boring source for personal development. Today on the line, we have Jennifer Maggio. She is the author of Overwhelmed, The Life of a Single Mom. You can learn more about Jennifer at thelifeofasinglemom.com. She's appeared on over 100 radio and television shows, including countless magazines and newspaper articles, because there are so many single parents out there that are overwhelmed. Well, we're here today to have her on the show to talk about how to get through that overwhelm and be a parent, even if you're a single parent, to live at your full potential. And even if you aren't a parent, if you're overwhelmed, I'm sure you can gain a lot from today's show. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Well, it's good to have you on. First of all, it's probably in this case easy to understand why you were inspired to write this story. When did you become a single mom? I mean, how long ago was this?
Well, that kind of tells my age. I was 17 when I had my first child. So I was, overwhelmed probably is a great understatement of where I was when I had my first child. And I was actually pregnant 4 times by the time I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And so just went through beyond what probably some people can even comprehend.
And so how many kids do you have now?
I have 2 kids. I had 2 miscarriages in high school. Well, actually, I have 3 kids. That's an easy question, so I don't know how I got that one wrong. But I had 2 kids when I was a teenager,
Okay.
and then I have a 3rd child now that I'm happily married. But
Okay.
I just remember having those 2 kids at a time when, number one, as a teenager, you're certainly not even equipped to be parenting effectively. And then I was living in the projects on food stamps and welfare, so I had no money, no support, and I was just at probably the lowest time in my life, frankly.
There are a lot of single parents in the world today, and particularly in the areas that have been hit hard by this economic recession, particularly America. There's a lot of overwhelmed parents out there that are trying to figure out what is the best way to not only survive myself, but to give my kids the best kind of home environment and overall lifestyle that I can. What advice do you have to give to those parents?
Well, to say there are a lot of single parents, there are 17 million in the country. So it's unbelievable the number of single parents just in the United States alone. Mm-hmm. And the thing that we're finding more and more, if I'm being honest with you, I never saw myself on this journey of encouraging single parents. I mean, that was certainly not what I thought. I thought my life was in corporate America and all of that. But, I have been inspired by the single parents that I've met across the country. And their desire is just like every other parent on the planet, which is we want to do the best we can for our kids, and we want to be good at it. We want our kids to go on and be better than we were. And I think every parent, whether you're married or not, will agree with that statement.
So they're coming from a good place. I mean, obviously, we have this instinctual nature, I think, as long as we're normal, that we want to raise good kids. We want to create the best environment for them possible. Coming from the circumstances that you did and being able to relate with parents that are maybe in very tough situations right now, how did you cope, and what advice might you have for them to really do the best they can, knowing what you know now? If you could almost give advice to yourself back then, what would you tell yourself?
Well, I'd say the first thing is to get involved in a local support group. And I think for me, I stumbled through life for several years feeling like there was no one else like me. That here I was, I had these 2 kids, I had no money. Parenting, I had never even held a baby before I gave birth to my first child. So I didn't know what I was doing. And I think that whether you're, a single mom listening or whether you're just a parent listening, local support groups are all over our country. And we all want to feel like we belong somewhere. Okay. And so that's the number one piece of advice I say regularly is you have to connect with people who understand where you are in life right now and who've mastered it, who have moved to that next season of life and say, hey, girl, I've been there and you're going to make it. You're going to survive.
What support group did you tap into? Or which ones might you recommend?
Well, I am my job is the Life of a Single Mom Ministries. I'm the founder of that ministry, and TLSM Ministries is we basically put support groups in churches around the globe.
Okay,
and
so it could be a religious group.
It could be a religious group. That personally, based on my beliefs, is what I believe is going to give you the most spiritual and emotional encouragement. But I would also say that a simple Google search will put at your fingertips tons of support groups, because maybe you're listening out there and you're not a single parent, but maybe you're a college kid. There's college campus support groups. I mean, there are all types of support groups to get you connected somewhere.
And there's a cool website called meetup.com. I don't know if you've ever used it, but you can pretty much find any kind of group that you're looking to join and be a part of and get that local support. So that's a great first step. Okay, so get that local support. What other advice might you offer to your former self if you could tell it today?
Oh gosh, we don't have enough time to go into everything.
Yeah, I would sit myself. At first, I'd whoop my butt a little bit. Then I give myself a long lecture. No, I mean just some simple things that people that are watching or listening right now, they're in that place that they can walk away and start applying that to better their lives.
Well, I would say, when I was younger, I felt like I didn't have time to read. And there are hundreds and thousands of books on the market. And, we have some on our website that we recommend. But there's all types of books that can offer you encouragement. And again, I felt like I was the only one that was in my situation. So, things like whatever season of life you're in, to really, your show's full potential. So how do you reach your full potential? Well, the number one thing is you have to be the best you that you were created to be. So how do you do that? I would say finding out what's most important to you in your season of life, because my priorities have changed through the years. And now that I'm raising teenage kids, goodness, that's not what my life was 10 years ago when I was raising toddlers, for example.
Right.
And when I was
a third one too. That
exactly,
changed it a little bit.
Exactly. I have a toddler, so I have teenagers and a toddler, so that's a great season of life. But I was in corporate America for many years and was very successful there. Well, what the tools that I used there and what I learned in that season of life are things that I've carried into this season of life, which is traveling and speaking and gaining that confidence. But a lot of that's book reading and furthering my education. All of those things are things that help you tap into who you were created to be.
All right, so we've got three things. You've got the local support group, feeding your mind constantly through this through books and good positive programming like the Full Potential Show. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. And I also hear you talking a bit about understanding yourself better. So maybe having that vision for what it would be like, maybe using your own creative imagination to come up with what would I be like as the best parent for my kids, or as the best person, even if I don't have kids. And then you start steering towards that with all the positive programming and the books that you read and the local support that you get around that sort of goal of this is who I'm becoming, this is who I choose to be. And now I'm going to feed my brain and I'm going to get local networks that are supportive of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, go ahead, Jennifer, and then I want to direct people to where they can go to get a copy of your book and the website.
I was just going to add one quick thing. I keep an index card on my mirror. Just one little thought, a positive thought or a goal that I have, and it changes from time to time. But it seems like such a small thing, but it's just a constant reminder of where my next place in life is and what I'm trying to get to. So that's just another tidbit I would throw out there.
Okay, having some reminder of where you're going, what you're doing, so that your intention is constantly resetting on that particular thing that you're working on.
Yes.
Okay, love it. Great advice. It's something that Nightingale Conant talked about in The Strangest Secret, right? I don't know if you've ever read that, but he talks about just a 3x5 card, and he defines success as the progression towards a worthy ideal. And so you're saying get that worthy ideal on an index card and keep it out in front of you all the time.
Yes, yes. Okay. Because you lose focus. When life gets hard, it's easy to lose focus.
Not only when life gets hard, but when you're bombarded with emails and IMs and all kinds of techno and crazy things going on every day, in the same minute you can lose focus. So having that in front of you, I think, is really important. Jennifer, where can they pick up a copy of your book, Overwhelmed, The Life of a Single Mom?
It's available everywhere. They can visit thelifeofasinglemom.com, has tons of info, things that we've talked about today, and resources available there as well.
Okay, great. Thelifeofasinglemom.com. You can pick up the book, Overwhelmed, The Life of a Single Mom. This is Jennifer Maggio, and we're so glad to have you on today's show. Jennifer, is there any final thoughts before we wrap up?
You know what? I just want to thank you for allowing me to be part of the show today. And I would just say to every person listening out there, you are not alone. Get connected and stay connected somewhere, because we're not created to do life alone.
We're not created to do life alone. I love it. And that support group, that environment that you put yourself in, is really going to help you determine the probabilities of where you're going in the future, good or bad. So I think that's such a key point. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being on today's show.
Thank you.
Thank you again, thelifeofasinglemom.com. And be sure to like and subscribe to Full Potential Show so you get more great insights from people like Jennifer and freebies that you'll only find right here on the Full Potential Show. Take care, Jennifer.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Full Potential Show, your #1 non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like the Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.